This is a HeadGum podcast.
London, we're coming to you very soon to do some live shows. September 16th and 17th, 2022 at King's Place as part of the London Podcast Festival.
I'll be there as well. I know that's potentially a big draw for some people.
Yeah, I mean, some people are there for you, some people are there for me. Most people are there for the friendship we share, Tom.
Hey, ain't that the truth?
Tickets are on sale now, tcgte.com/live, but wait, not in London. If you're around London, you should travel and come to this show. If you're not around London, guess what? You can watch this online. You can watch Saturday Night Show, September 17th, streaming online.
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah, you can get tickets for that as well. Oh, and you can get that for 7 days after, I think. So
yes.
You buy it and then watch it all day, every day for a full week.
Take advantage of the weak British pound right now.
Please come. It'll be a lot of fun. September 16th, September 17th, London, England, tcgte.com/live.
Hey, we'll see you there.
Hey, we'll see you at the show.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this
My
week?
back hurts. I
your
carried
back
a
hurts.
heavy backpack all the way over here.
Well, don't give it away, but maybe subscribers to our Patreon will find out why you brought such a heavy backpack over here.
It's full of gold doubloons that we're packaging up and sending to our patrons.
Yep, that old pirate treasure map that Tim found. Well, turns out the naysayers were wrong. It did, in fact, lead Tim to a treasure full of gold doubloons that will be given to fans that didn't doubt us.
Exactly. That's why you should never doubt us. Never doubt anybody that you give money to on the internet.
Yeah. And my back's also killing me because I brought a backpack full of coal to send to all the people that doubted us.
Yes, the non-believers will be getting coal.
Yeah.
So much coal they won't know what to do with it.
Heat their homes, I guess, maybe. Winter's coming. Coal prices going through the roof, probably.
I don't think people are hungry for coal, though.
Well, you can't eat coal, no.
No, I don't think they're...
Look, I want to go on the record to all the people we're sending this coal to. You can't eat it. Don't eat it. And then come crying back to us, oh, I ate that coal you sent me, and now my tummy hurts.
They doubted us, Tom. Eat the coal. Who cares? Do whatever you want. See what happens. I think you're a big man.
Yeah, think you're tough enough to eat coal?
Yeah, prove it. Eat coal.
Tim, this week we're talking about a format.
Yeah. Wow, this is exciting. Exciting news. We're talking about
I
a
was
format.
trying to think, what would be the most interesting way to...
And you nailed it. Hey, Tom, 10 out of 10.
to present this potentially boring topic.
Stuck the landing.
Yeah.
We're talking about a... format.
Well, thank you for I was practicing that in front of a mirror.
The delivery
all day
really
today.
sold it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it keeps people in suspense, Tim. We're talking about VHS.
Video head system.
Hey, aren't you nostalgic for the old times?
Yeah. What does VHS stand for?
Stands for Video Home System.
Oh, that was
which
close.
kind of doesn't make sense. Video home? You mean home video system, guys?
Yeah, the HVS doesn't.
Yeah. Hey, tell those scientists back to the lab.
Wait, what?
Tell those scientists back to the lab. Come up with another name.
Other than VHS.
Video Home System?
I mean, it makes sense. The words are there. They might be jumbled, but
they're in
that's
the
part
wrong
of
order.
the fun of it.
But I guess also people just call it VHS. Nobody is ever like, do you have any Video Home System tapes here? I'm sure probably in the late 70s, some real nerds were doing that, but not by the time we were in the VHS game as children.
Tom, I think we have a lot of people that were born within the last decade listening. So can you describe what VHS is?
VHS, Tim, is the prevailing video cassette format that people watched, bought, rented, sometimes even made home movies on, recorded TV shows on. VHS was the standard, you see. Now, there was a competing format you may have heard of called Betamax.
We're not here talking about Betamax.
Well, we're going to talk about Betamax a little bit.
Tom, it's called VHS.
Their competitor.
Have a little respect.
Look, when we talk about Betamax, we're going to shit all over it.
Okay.
We're not going to hold any punches.
We hate Betamax.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay, I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I don't hate
It's a decent format. It's just, we'll get into it. I don't want to get into, because I did a decent amount of, that's why we're kind of jumping into the topic right away, Tim, because I kind of did a decent amount of research on this, and I've got some common wisdom about all this stuff that you may have grown up hearing about that I'm here to debunk.
Wow, the debunker has put on his debunking hat and debunking cape.
Yeah, and he's here to debunk. And after I debunk something, I'll have like a catchphrase, I guess. Debunked.
That's a good catchphrase for the debunker. Tom, can I, again, just for the people born in the last decade or so, do you know what the lifespan of VHS, like that, where it was kind of the prevailing format, or a format that I guess was available in any way, according to Wikipedia.com?
I believe it was around 1977 that it like became available for consumers.
Right.
And I know the last commercially available VHS that wasn't like some kind of like cheeky throwback thing was in 2016, I think.
Okay. They have it as 1976 to 2007.
Yeah.
Which?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2016 is when they stopped making VCRs.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like a VCR. I have a VCR.
Wow, that was some quick wish fulfillment.
Hey, Tom, that's why you gotta believe in me. That the life, like VHS, which we grew up on, we love it. We're so nostalgic for it. It existed for less than our lifetime.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
What do you mean?
How long do you want it to have lasted?
I feel like for a lot of my life, when something comes out before you're born, you just assume it's been around for,
it's just always been
forever, right? So it's like,
and it's always going to be around in the future.
Yeah, and guess what? Everything in this life is fleeting.
Yeah. Well, it is also, I don't know, format wars used to be a much bigger thing. And like formats, I feel like in the 80s and 90s, there were always like new formats coming out, and consumers were always confused about, is this new format worth like upgrading to? Is it going to make a big enough difference in my life? Mm-hmm. But also, is this format going to stick around, or is it going to be an also-ran?
Right. And we hate also-rans.
We like winners. We like betting on winning horses here.
Yeah.
And VHS, that's a winning horse. Tim, let me tell you first off.
These episodes where you do a lot of research, you always get so excited. You start interrupting yourself. Just take a breath, take a minute. You can do this.
I have all the notes in order.
I know. So just take your time.
Let me first start by formally.
Okay, it's nerves. It's okay.
Formally thanking Ellington Lassiter, who suggested this topic on our Patreon.
And a very cool name.
It's such a cool name, in fact, that I was looking at it. I was like, is this the guy who invented VHS?
I mean,
like, is that why I have this name written down first? Like, Ellington Lassiter. Oh, of course, the inventor of the VCR. No, but hey, in my book, next best thing. Because he suggested that we do. I'm sure also, like, every time we've done this, other people have suggested it millions of times. But hey, Ellington, he had that certain something on his suggestion.
That je ne sais. What is it?
Je ne sais quoi?
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi?
I took Spanish in high school.
Yeah. Okay. So say it in Spanish then.
Yeah, you know.
Tim, the first VTR
What the hell are you talking about?
Videotape recorder.
Okay.
Not video cassette recorder, videotape recorder, because it wasn't in a cassette. It was reel-to-reel type nonsense.
Okay.
1956, the Ampex VRX 1000.
Is this how the whole thing is going to go? You just naming like brand names and
Well,
stuff?
I'm Tim, I'm brand loyal to Ampex.
You're an Ampex man through and through.
I've got an Ampex TV, Ampex dishwasher, washer dryer. My phone's an Ampex, of course.
You're wearing a hat with the Ampex logo on it.
But I kind of miss. I mean, I guess there are some companies that do this still. But when things were named, things like VRX 1000.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
That sounds like such a cool thing. Oh,
Yeah.
what phone did you get? Oh, I just got the VRX 1000.
Yeah. No, I got the iPhone 11.
Yeah, boring. Ampex VRX 1000.
Yeah.
It could kill you if you don't read the manual right. This VTR was $50,000 in 1956.
Which is apparently $28.6 billion today.
It is equivalent to about $500,000 today.
Okay.
And the tapes cost $300 in 1956 dollars, equivalent to about $3,000 today.
Is this why they were like, they didn't save all the tapes of...
like Johnny Carson.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That shows it's not
tape
worth...
cost $3,000, and the machine cost $500,000. NBC had
Do you think
one of them.
$100 is a grand?
What? No, I'm saying in the equivalent of
Oh,
2021.
okay, I see.
And that's just for a 90-minute reel of tape.
You're talking 2021?
No, this is a 90-minute reel of tape no matter what time you're in. It was intended, as I'm sure you could imagine, only for the professional market.
Right.
So that was like kicking around, like you said.
Desilu probably bought a lot of those.
Or at least I'm sure they tried to sell them to Desilu, other production companies of that era. But and I don't know, I couldn't find too much information about it. I'm not sure like how good it actually was. And especially because I guess back then they were shooting things either live, and it just went on the air, or they were filming things, pointing a camera at a screen that was playing the projection and broadcasting that. So I don't really even know what they use these for.
The reason I said Desilu, Tom, is because I think I Love Lucy was the first show
to do reruns?
to figure out that they should be somehow recording them to tape, not just filming a screen that was broadcasting live.
We should figure that out one day. We should figure out a way to save these things instead of just putting them out live.
These podcasts? Yeah.
I actually do think about that all the time because, like, I don't know about you, but I, throw away all the master tracks for this.
Tom, you make the same joke.
What?
Every time.
We talk about old TV?
No, every time I talk to you. And because, like, I always have this thing where I fill up my computer with all the raw files of this until I get that, like, you have no disk space left.
Right. And you're sitting there thinking, hey, computer, the files on this computer are worth more than you'll ever be.
Exactly. So figure it out.
Right. I'm going to come back here tomorrow and you better have this figured out.
No, so I always ping you.
I can't wait until we can talk to computers like that.
I mean, you could do it right now, Tom.
I'm just like
scolding your
stress computers out.
Yeah, AI, like, people don't think they're like, oh, AI is going to, like, take over. It's like, no, you just be a jerk to it all the time. Just be alpha.
Yeah, and that surely will convince the AI not to kill us all once it becomes sentient.
So I always ask you, like, oh, man, I have, like, months of episodes here. Should I just delete those?
Put them in the vault.
Should I save these for any reason? And I've asked you this numerous times. I don't know why I ask every time because you always have the same answer. I don't think we're going to ever release remastered versions of these episodes. So, yeah, I think so.
Well, maybe we should be releasing remastered episodes.
You said it one time in front of Marika. and then looked at her like, can you believe this asshole? And she was on my side.
But I think it was more like, look, Tim, I can't tell you. Don't talk to me like I'm your computer. You figure it out.
All
If you
right.
want to save these things, save them somewhere.
I thought maybe you would be like, oh, you know what? I bought a backup for the files on my side. I think
Yeah.
we should save these. We might want
I
to
think
release remastered versions at some point.
I think I did do that at one point, and then I forgot to do it one week, and then just never did again.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like one of us.
I mean, I think about all the time now that we have so many damn episodes. So we'll get back to the VCR talk in a second.
Yeah, people are freaking out.
I think about all the time that we're gonna have like the perfect sample set for creating an AI version of this show.
I think
Because we're going to have so much training data, not only of the sounds of our voices, but we only say like, I don't know, 5 or 6 different things.
yeah, we have the same 8 stories that we've been telling for 14 years.
God, maybe the show will get a lot better with AI.
Yeah,
Maybe you'll
take it in new directions.
if you're ever listening to the show one week and it gets much, much better, and we have like both of us have new stories to tell and new experiences to talk about, that's a computer. A computer made those episodes.
We're on an island somewhere reaping the benefits.
Yeah. And then we're on an island somewhere, and then we both look at our phones and realize they've been turned off by the AI, and we're stranded on the island.
Yeah.
And it's assumed our lives, just taken over.
Moved into our homes.
Wheeled themselves in. I'm imagining like a computer on like one of those carts when they would bring the TV and VCR into school, like into the classroom.
Yeah.
You would see that in the classroom when you came in. You're like, oh, yeah, awesome.
You know what sucked
We're gonna
about our
watch a
school?
video. What? That we only have one Laserdisc player?
Yeah, that was part of it. But no, the fact that we didn't have an AV club. And I know that's like, oh, only nerds do that, but like, I don't know. I would have joined that. I would have
I
liked
was
to know
a nerd. I would have done that.
how the VCR works and stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever like take apart a VCR?
No.
I've taken. We'll talk about this later.
Tom,
I got to get some of the stats out of the way. I got to get some of the.
Yeah, because that's what people are. The tech specs.
All right. So VHS 1971 is when these two JVC engineers, Yuma Shirashi, I'm going to say.
Okay.
And
you know what? If you're not gonna, if you're not even gonna try to pronounce it,
Shizuo Tanaka.
okay.
Takana. Sorry.
Oh,
put together a
got
team.
letters about that one.
A team to develop a consumer-based VTR. Tim, I would like to read to you the VHS development matrix.
God, Tom.
This was their North Star. This is what they were like, this is what the thing we're making has to be. It has to satisfy these tenets.
You and your matrices, Tom.
The system must be compatible with any ordinary television set.
Okay. That's not what's funny about that, Tom.
Well,
That's
it's
good.
funny, but also it's just thinking back to the way things were. I'm sure there were other companies that were like, yeah, and then we'll make a TV that only works with our VCR.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll have to buy that, and then we'll make, another $1,000 off
vertical
them.
integration.
Because that was like back, nowadays we talk about like things not being compatible.
Right.
But like honestly, the biggest problem now is just like iPhones aren't USB-C.
Right.
That's the only
Well,
headache.
everything that you're talking about here about like format wars and everything, it's all because like only 2 companies make anything anymore.
Yeah, and it's much better for consumers and for everybody.
Yeah.
No, but I mean like that's partially true. But also it's like smaller companies have realized, okay, we've got to go. We're a tiny company. We're not going to invent like a new phone operating system, and all of a sudden everybody is going to jump over and start using our phones. Like it's got to work with the stuff people already got, because that's especially nowadays. It's just everybody has so much shit.
I mean, you assume that everybody has as many gadgets as you
Well,
have.
I'm just saying, even a normal person, it's like I want to make sure like my phone works with my car. I want to make sure it works with like the TV I've got.
My phone works with my TV?
Yeah, maybe not that one, but like I don't know.
That was one of two examples. And also, my phone doesn't work with my car either.
It doesn't?
No, what do you
can't
mean?
connect it via Bluetooth to your car?
Oh, yeah, but I hate it because whenever I get a phone call, it automatically answers it and puts it through my stereo system.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why does it auto answer?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's weird. That sounds like a setting or something.
Probably, but I'm not going to spend the 2 minutes to troubleshoot it.
I've got a problem on my car with if I try and do the volume down on the steering wheel, it pushes in, and then it like invokes the decade plus old voice assistant that doesn't understand shit you tell it to. So that's my car problem.
Yeah, we all got our crosses to bear.
All right, the next tenant. Picture quality must be similar to a normal air broadcast.
Normal air broadcasts from back in the day.
Looks like shit.
Yeah. You ever see these? I'm thinking about like some of the first TVs. It was like a little orb where like it's just a cloudy, like bluish picture. It's like looking into a crystal ball or something.
Yeah, because there were like circular TVs in the 50s.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a lot of them were.
Yeah.
Because I guess they were like, people only want to see the middle of the picture. It's fine.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't have gotten into TV if it was about, because it would have been too much effort. Yeah,
I mean, it is
straining my eyes.
It is wild to think about. Like I remember as a kid, our living room TV was a 17-inch TV, and that was like a big TV.
What an idiot!
I know.
What a dumb family.
But now I think about like sitting on a couch and watching a 17-inch screen, like 10 feet away from me. I wouldn't be able to tell what the hell's going on, especially if the air quality back then. Not air quality, the air quality was better. The over the air quality.
Right. Tom, I gotta tell you something.
What?
How big is your TV now?
I think it's 55 inches.
And how far away is your couch from your TV?
It's about a foot or two.
Yeah, Tom, it's terrifying. I feel like if you watch Jurassic Park. I'd be afraid of. I'm gonna get. I'm gonna be T-Rex meat.
That's why I don't watch Jurassic Park, Tim. I saw some stupid thing online today about that Jurassic Park, like the new Jurassic Park director. That I guess he had something like, I want to make an R-rated Jurassic Park. Why?
Yeah,
just so to make it
can say
gorier.
Yeah,
so you can see people fuck. So you can see dinosaurs fuck.
You can have animals do that in a PG-13.
If that's what's holding you back, you got to talk to the MPAA. They'll allow that.
Yeah.
Tell them it's scientific stuff. The quality number 3, the tape must have at least a 2-hour recording capability.
Wow, that's okay.
Now, see. This was actually what killed Betamax. His Betamax tapes were only an hour. So you can't put a movie on a Betamax
Put
tape.
a short movie on
it. Sure, you can put like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on it.
Yeah. Tom, it's a great picture.
They later, because I know the thing we always grew up hearing was like, oh, did you know Beta was actually better quality than VHS,
yeah, that's what
but
I
it
heard.
lost out. Not really, because it was better quality when you were only recording for an hour, but they had to come up with like tape formats later where they could fit more time onto the same tape.
You degrade the quality, you take down the quality.
Yeah, you have to slow the tape so the quality's not as good. So it was actually like, if you bought a movie on Beta and VHS, the quality was like pretty comparable, I think.
Okay. Well, history is written by the winners. So, Tom, congratulations. You bought the propaganda from the winner.
I'm the winner, and I get to write the history. Number 4.
Wait, hold on.
What?
You know what I always hated about VHS tapes?
What's that?
They never came, when you had to buy a blank one,
Mm-hmm.
they never came clean as to how long it was. It's like, well, if you wanted it this
it could
quality.
go up to 8 hours.
It's like, I don't know how to change that on my VCR.
Yeah.
Like, when I put it in the default VCR.
Well, Tim, when I talk about repairing VCRs later, I've got some stuff there to talk about.
You know what? I'm going to step back.
Tenet number 4, tapes must be interchangeable between machines.
Huh.
Which also, I don't know if that means...
It's all just about standardization, I guess, huh?
And I guess that means like, yeah, we're creating a standard, but I also take it to mean, were they like, maybe we should just sell machines with a tape built into them? And it doesn't have to be interchangeable. If they want a different tape, they have to go buy a new machine with a tape inside it. Number 5, the overall system should be versatile, meaning it can be scaled and expanded, such as connecting a video camera or dub between 2 recorders.
I zoned out and didn't listen to that one. I'm going to assume it's not that important.
It should basically just like, it shouldn't be like a closed system. Like you should be able to plug other things into it to record from, not just TV signals.
Okay.
Recorders should be affordable, easy to operate, and have low maintenance costs. Makes sense. Again, they're trying to make a consumer product, any consumer product that you want it to be affordable, easy to operate, and low maintenance costs. And the final tenet, recorders must be capable of being produced in high volume. Their parts must be interchangeable, and they must be easy to service.
Okay.
Which is not something you hear about literally anything any company makes anymore.
Right. They want it to all be, it's screwed up. Buy a new one.
Yeah, but I will say the difference here is when you look inside, and again, we'll get later to look inside a VHS
Stop
machine.
jumping the gun, yeah.
But
get to the part where you take apart a VCR.
Inside a VCR. There's a lot of shit going on inside there. This project was shelved.
Is this going to be you describing a YouTube video at length?
No, this project was shelved the next year by the higher up bozos.
1972, it was shelved.
But guess what? They continued it in secret. They were
Mr. Takana?
Yeah, Mr. Takana and Mr. Shirashi, I think. They were like, "Oh yeah, you got it, boss. Yeah, we'll shelve that project." And then they winked at each other and they built a prototype.
Oh my God!
In 1973. And JVC released the first VHS machines in Japan in late 76 and the US in mid 77.
Wow, when Star Wars was coming out.
Did you know that they were that old? I didn't know that they had been around that long.
Yeah, I mean, I just assumed.
Because I remember when my family got a VCR and I wasn't alive in the 70s.
We were early adopters in my house.
So
I feel like we always had one. Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly one of my earliest memories.
Yeah, I was born in 82, Tom. Mm-hmm. 1982. You were born in the 60s, I thought.
No, I believe I haven't done my full research, but I believe my family
got that shaggy look of a man that was born in 1966.
I know, I've got to get a haircut. I'm pretty sure my family got a VCR. It was either 1985 or 1986.
Okay. I don't have any memories from those years. I don't have any memory before it's 16.
The only memories I have from 1985 are that I remember the layout of the apartment my family lived in. And I remember coming into my parents' bedroom and saying, "I don't feel good," and throwing up Kool-Aid and pepperoni all over their bed.
Shouldn't have had all that Kool-Aid and pepperoni.
All I remember is the pepperoni. I must have swallowed them whole because they came out whole. It was very disgusting. So as I was saying, Tim, I remember getting the VCR. I believe it was for Christmas. It wasn't mine, but it was my parents'. But my gift...
Yeah, what do they use it to watch?
My gift... Tim, that's another misconception that porn was what drove VHS adoption. It certainly helped, but there was this idea that that's what actually really boomed it. And it's yeah, some of it, but not all of it.
Okay. So what you're saying is that it essentially was true.
No, because there are some people that are like, porn is the only thing that the only reason VHS got so popular.
Who are these people that
They're
are saying
people
this
you
stuff?
don't know them. They used to hang out at the video store near the curtain, the beaded curtain.
The beaded curtain.
I remember when I was a kid, like, the family got a VCR, huge deal. My brother wasn't born yet, so it was just me. And they were like, and guess what? And I think they were like, look at this. And I was, I don't know, 5 years old. And I was like, who gives a flying shit? I don't know what that is.
Right.
But they were like, we got you a tape of He-Man.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what? But I think I was like, to play with? I don't know what a tape is. And they explain like it's an episode of He-Man you can watch anytime. But I mean, the thing was, I couldn't really watch it anytime because my parents certainly didn't want to watch the same episode of He-Man all the time.
Was it one episode?
No. Here's the fucked up thing about this.
All
and
right,
again, I'm sorry
down.
for cursing, but it still gets me so upset, Tim. Put the tape in the VCR. It was all still images of He-Man. It wasn't animated.
No, was this a limitation of VHS at the time?
That's like what it seemed like. That it was like,
did they not know that they could put whatever they wanted on that tape?
Yeah, I don't know. And I think my parents had to kind of, because I was like, what is this shit? And I was like,
36 years later, you're still so upset about this.
yeah, if I ever meet the bozo that was out there selling these tapes, I owe him a punch in the nose.
Yeah.
And I think the tape, like, even in 1985 dollars was like $50.
Yeah.
It was, unbelievably expensive.
We had E.T. the Extraterrestrial on
Oh,
VHS.
okay. That's a good one. And also, they didn't have the He-Man voice actors doing the voice work. It was, some other people.
So what was it? Some sort of bootleg?
No, because I remember it had like a very official looking thing. What I imagine was that the like company that owned He-Man's intellectual property had some deal with the company that made the cartoons and was like, we can do this ourselves and cut out the middleman.
Right.
And, these parents won't know until they came home.
And then they won't even really care.
Believe me, my parents cared because I cared because I hated it. I don't think I ever watched it again. I was just like so mad about it. I'm still mad about it.
You see a therapist about you're carrying this. Doesn't seem healthy. Tom, my brother, it's like a young teen, maybe a tween.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I always forget about your tween brother.
At the time, he was a tween in the 90s, in the early 90s.
Okay.
Maybe even the late 80s. I didn't buy, I think he asked for Christmas, some tapes of Cheers. And at the time, the sitcom Cheers.
Yeah, they didn't sell tapes of Cheers
They
at the time.
did.
Oh, were
But
they
they
like...
sold probably for $25
Yeah.
a tape that had 2 episodes of Cheers on it.
Yeah.
And by the way, Cheers is in syndication. It's on Channel 11
Every
from
night.
like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. every night.
Yeah, but your brother was a tween. He didn't stay up that
I
late.
don't know. He had a TV in his room and a VCR.
Oh,
and he would watch, like, one of them was that episode of where Harry the Hat, played by Harry Anderson, came in. And they staged the poker game because somebody was hustling Coach.
Okay.
But, like, I've
seen
that.
He was a dummy.
Exactly. He was a kind old, trusting old
Dummy.
I saw that episode 10,000 times. But, like, nowadays, in the age of streaming, Tom, I got every episode of Cheers at my fingertips for, what, $9.99 a month? And it comes with a bunch of other things.
Yeah. That was like... I forgot about that was a big thing in like the 80s and 90s. that they would sell episodes of TV shows, and it would just be like seemingly random episodes.
Yeah.
They would not be.
This was a good one. The one with Harry the Hat playing poker.
They would not be in sequential order or anything like that, because I remember my dad would bring home once in a while. He worked in construction, and apparently like a guy would come with like a briefcase and just sell VHS tapes, but they weren't bootlegs, or if they were bootlegs, they were like very good bootlegs, like professional packaging and shrink wrapped and everything. I think it was just, I don't know, the guy probably just stole them from a store and then went and sold them wherever he could.
Yeah.
But he would buy Pee-wee's Playhouse tapes. And same thing, it was, there were maybe 2 or 3 random episodes of Pee-wee's Playhouse on these tapes. I remember the ice cream soup one, watching that one a lot.
Yeah, they really Tom, I bought something, a bootleg off. We were on a school trip to see Miss Saigon on Broadway.
How old were you?
It's probably like 16.
Okay.
Because I stepped out of Penn Station and somebody was selling VHS tapes. And
VHS? Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I bought a VHS bootleg of the Trey Parker and Matt Stone film.
Orgasmo.
Yeah. But like also like my AP English teacher was there, and I was like, hold on, I have to buy this bootleg video called Orgasmo off the street. And I was like, I guess Mr. Walsh didn't care.
Yeah,
I was just like, all right.
You don't understand. This is very hard to find. Because I remember you having that tape as a teen and potentially even borrowing it from you at some point.
It occurs to me, I don't remember ever getting rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
So probably what happened was that went into my closet at some point.
Yeah.
I went to college, and my mom was like, time to clean out Tim's room,
Oh
and
my
like
God.
found a VHS of Orgasmo. It was just like, what an idiot. This pervert just leaves his stuff here.
Yeah, my mom used to similarly, like a woman would come. Like, remember when we lived in Greenpoint, Brooklyn? Like, some bars, like a woman would come in with just like a shopping bag full of
bootleg DVDs.
Somebody would come to her office and say she worked in
I was always like, get out of here. Why weren't we buying those? They were first run movies.
I'll tell you why. I always looked at them.
Yeah.
I was always like curious what they had. And the thing was, like, if you asked, like, hey, you got anything like this? Like, they were giving you, the popular stuff to sift through. But if you were like, hey, you have any pornography that fits this very particular niche? Like, yeah, hold on one second. And they'll dig into a different bag and have that. That's what I heard. That's what I saw another man do.
Some scoundrel.
But this woman would come into my mom's office, and like every time, this was in college and then after college when we were living in Greenpoint, I would like come home and there would be all these like random bootleg DVDs that they never even watched. They like, she would just buy them, I think, because they were cheap.
Yeah.
And I remember telling her,
like you, just like a good deal.
Yeah. Well, and I remember telling her like, like if you really want a bootleg of something, like I can download it. Like that's all these people are doing. But also it's like, I don't know, my parents didn't care about like first run movies.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you buying this for $5 when like next month you can rent it for $4 and it won't look like shit?
Yeah. And also, hey, go out to the movies once in a while if you want to see a first run picture.
Yeah, they always complained about like, we haven't been to the movies in so long, and it's like, well, you have 2 adult sons, so that's
go to the goddamn movies.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom. I know you wanted to keep talking about specs.
Yeah. No, it's fine. You got to sprinkle in a little. Man, I also remember buying a bootleg DVD at the first comic convention I ever went to. And I bought this DVD of this comic that I liked. There was like a cartoon of it, an anime. Not an anime guy. I can see the look in your eye. But there was one that I liked I bought the anime of it. It was like the first table I saw and they had it. I was like, holy shit, I can't believe they have it. So I buy it, and then, going around the floor, see that like 7 other booths are selling the same thing cheaper and with subtitles. The one I bought did not have subtitles. And this piece of shit, God, this is really...
It was all about the booth placement.
Yeah, and he wouldn't let me return it.
Well, yeah, you can't let someone return something.
But I was 12 years old.
Oh, I thought this was at like Comic-Con, like...
No, this is at Nassau Coliseum.
Oh, okay.
AJ's dad took us.
Oh.
And I was just so like... and it was one of those things where it was like, on the way out the door, my mom was like, here's $20. Like, don't spend it all in one place. I immediately spent it all there, had no other money, and was just so mad. And then would like go home and watch this and be like, maybe it'll be all right. After watching it, just get even madder because it's like, I have no idea what's going on.
Your VHS collection really probably took some years off your life.
Yeah.
I've never seen somebody so angry about
I think I may have just thrown it out in disgust, in rage. It was a very professional looking booth. I should see if I could... What do you think the statute of limitations is on copyright infringement? See if I can track these guys down and get them put in jail.
I don't think the guy who sold you that is still alive.
He was like a young guy.
I know, but they all live unhealthy lifestyles.
Anime fans?
No,
guys that sell
anime booth guys.
Anime bootleg booth guys?
I
don't know. I could see that guy outliving both of us, Tim.
How many liters of like off-brand soda do you think he drank per day?
Mellow Yellow or whatever. Yeah, probably a lot. But yeah, those are my bootleg video things. But I remember like all the time as a kid being fascinated with the bootleg video industry in New York City. Like my dad mentioning like, oh yeah, and I'd be like, wait, what did he have? Like,
yeah.
Can you write down like all the tapes he had and I'll give you money? And he'd be like, no.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It'd be like, I think it was like, it's illegal. And also
fast forward to years later.
Like you don't want to watch the movies this way.
Yeah.
Somebody just taped it off the movie screen with a handy cam or whatever.
Right. That's no way to watch a film, Tom. The best way to watch a first run movie is to go to the barbershop I used to go to
and
in
they
Woodside.
have bootlegs.
No, and they just play it. That's how I saw Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the last 15 minutes of it. Getting a trim.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good. Probably costs you less than a movie ticket nowadays.
Yeah,
without movie tickets.
And I got a haircut.
I think movie tickets stop going up in price. Is that true?
What's it around like $13 now?
Well, you're talking about the theaters. Like
I'm going to the first movie since 2019 in a movie theater.
Oh, tomorrow. I thought you were saying I'm going to the first movie. I was going to say, Tim, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to run out of the theater once that train pulls into the station.
It's terrifying.
just close your eyes, pretend it's not happening. The places that near us, Alamo and Nighthawk, I think their ticket prices are a little bit lower because they sell like food and alcohol and stuff, so they make it up on there.
I don't think I'm going to eat food, right? I'm going to keep my mask on. I don't know. I hope nobody else is in the theater.
I don't think you're going to a noon show of Nope, which came out 3 weeks ago, I think.
Oh, I think more than that.
Yeah.
like 6 weeks.
I think you'll be fine. I've gone to see movies and taken my mask off to eat and drink, and it's fine. I think it's fine because like people aren't talking during the movie. People
true.
aren't spreading stuff around.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we were kids, it was constantly, movie tickets. Oh, they're more expensive now. They're more expensive. I think they kind of hit a plateau of like, all right.
I used to go to so many movies, Tom.
And now you just buy VHS tapes outside Penn Station.
Orgasmo.
And now I just watch this copy of Orgasmo over and over again. Tim, let's talk about What do I want to talk about? Which of these
These
topics?
are all in order.
You know what? Let's talk about maybe the dark side of VHS tapes.
Oh, no, snuff films.
No. Nothing like that, Tim. First off, let's talk about tape rewinders. Let's talk about some of the downsides of videotapes. That once you were done rewinding it, you might think, whew, what a great movie. Time for bed. Nope, your job's not done yet.
Oh, wait, once you finish watching
Once you finish watching it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I guess I'll turn everything off, go to bed. No, siree. Your night is not done yet.
it. Still got some work to do.
You got now. I would argue now is when the real work starts.
Exactly.
Because you got to take that tape out, you got to put it in the tape rewinder. You don't
Wait, you had a separate tape rewinder?
You had a separate tape rewinder.
Press
You
the
didn't.
fucking button on the VCR.
What are you nuts and wear out the VCR?
Wears out the VCR?
Yeah, it's moving parts, man.
That's ridiculous.
Why
That's
do
a
you think
ridiculous
there had
notion.
to be all these VHS repair people? That was the whole point. 2 points to a tape rewinder. The first one,
You
that
got
it would-
taken by some tape rewinder salesman, and it stuck with you.
No, two positives here.
Oh, I can't wear out my VCR. I won't be able to watch my still images of fucking He-Man.
The first one was that it saved on wear and tear.
Okay.
Because think about it, it's all moving parts in there. It's a motor in there.
Yeah, I know.
You don't want to be using that
You
motor.
probably shouldn't ever
unnecessarily.
watch a movie either.
I mean, if you can
Don't
avoid
use
it.
the things.
Well, make sure you have a nice tape cleaner you can throw in there sometimes and
Right.
clean the heads.
Hey, don't even get me started on setting the clock on these things. Am I right?
Uh,
All right. So the one thing was wear and tear.
wear and tear. But the second thing was, and this wasn't, I feel like in the initial batch of tape rewinders, this was kind of like second gen and forward. These things were speed demons.
Tom, I know they're speed demons, and I respect that.
Uh-huh.
But also, it's not like you had to hold the button. You could press the rewind button and walk away.
No, I remember there being times where it was like, oh no, we have tapes to return to the video store. And if we don't return them in the next 15 minutes, we're going to get charged a late
Well,
fee.
then plan your fucking life better.
Well,
Tom.
you know what? When I was like 13 years old, Tim, I really didn't do that great of a job planning things.
So you had to buy a whole other device to save you 30 seconds on rewinding.
Sometimes, well, Tim, that 30 seconds might have saved me an outrageous late fee. Might have
That's
been worth
true.
it.
Yeah.
That VHS rewinder paid for itself in no time. And it
Okay.
was fun. It rewound the tape so fast it sounded like it was going to break them. Which, that's just a fun thing to experience.
Yeah.
The second, another part of the dark side of VHS, Tim, copy protection.
Ah.
Because do you remember like the default copy protection that videos had, or not copy protection, but that there was like a little tab on the tape.
I remember this on audio cassettes.
Yeah. So if the tab was there, if you bought a blank cassette, it had a little plastic tab there and you could record. And if you wanted to then protect that and not record over it by accident, you could just break that little plastic tab off. It was meant to be broken off.
So there's some sensor in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Now if you bought a tape when you bought ET from the store, it didn't have
My
that.
uncle bought it.
Okay, when your
for us as
uncle
a gift.
bought it
Yeah.
at the store, that didn't have that tab there in the first place. But let's say desperate times call for desperate measures, and you want to tape something off the TV, you could put a piece of cellophane tape
Mhm.
over that little empty space, and lo and behold, your video cassette recorder all of a sudden will happily record over a pre-made
A
tape.
cinematic masterpiece like E.T.
Yeah.
to record an episode of Alf, an
Now-
inferior alien.
Now,
Why would I do that?
I mean, it was inadvisable because I think the way the tapes were made were maybe a little different. So I don't think those tapes were meant to be like taped over as much. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it just fine. But I feel like it was a little bit different quality tape, that if you taped over a movie, it didn't like look as good. It was like maybe, like the little faint under there,
Yeah.
the stuff that
ET,
was in there in
yeah.
the first place. But there was also something called macrovision,
Whoa, that's cool.
and that was
It makes everything bigger.
no,
This couch. I'm I gotta jump on it like a trampoline.
What that did was make sure that if you rented Jurassic Park from the video store, you couldn't just copy it yourself if you had two VCRs. But it's kind of fascinating how it did that.
I bet it's less fascinating to me than it is to you.
It would insert deliberate errors that TVs ignored, but recorders did not ignore. And
what kind of errors?
it was basically like stuff that was outside of like where the tape would normally have important information, I guess. So it would kind of like transpose those errors. It would mess with like the luminance. So things would like get real dark and then real bright, real dark and real bright. So it was basically just trying to make something that was like unwatchable.
Right.
And it worked for the most part.
Well, I mean, for a movie like Jurassic Park, the visuals aren't that important.
Did you ever like hook up two VCRs and do a tape to tape?
No, I wasn't that much of a tinkerer.
Yeah.
What I like to do, Tom.
Yeah, you probably never even took a VCR apart.
I'm on record saying I didn't. I think I might have now that you say it, but I don't think I like was poking around too much or like trying to understand it. Mm-hmm. This is what I want. I rented videos and watched them.
Yeah.
And I taped a ton of shit off the TV, Tom. Right. We had VHS tapes. I was every episode of Saturday Night Live in the 90s. Mm-hmm. I was taping every episode of Seinfeld. I got Simpsons with the original commercials. Probably all thrown out at this point, but yeah, I was taping a lot of stuff.
Now, let me ask you this, Tim. Did you ever set something to record?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. Like when you weren't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that I remember always being like incredibly confusing.
Tom, I mastered it. Tom, can you believe something?
What?
The night of the Seinfeld series finale, they had a freaking National Honor Society induction at school. This was my reward for being a good student. I couldn't participate in the zeitgeist defining, the cultural defining moment of 1997.
Wow. Yeah. Who are these people? That's my question.
Exactly. A lot of people didn't show up to that honor society induction.
Yeah, probably because they were busy. Because you still got into honor society, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So who gives a shit?
And then the next year, there was another one because like you got re-inducted, right. I guess, when you did. And I almost, you and I got tickets to a Foo Fighters concert at the Roseland Ballroom, and my mom almost didn't let me go.
Wow. Just because she wanted to see her little Timmy up on stage.
Like, you know what?
Did you get something like a medal or something like that?
You have to like take an oath or something and like you to pledge your allegiance.
Tim, I'm saying, did you get something to come home with?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a whole fucking thing. I didn't go to that one.
Right.
But it's like, what, you gonna make me miss Seinfeld and Foo Fighters? the only two things I actually like in this world?
Yeah. And I if you hadn't done that, I would have been at that Foo Fighters show saying, yeah, my friend couldn't be here. He's a big nerd.
Yeah. And Dave Grohl would have thought I was a big nerd.
Yeah, he would have been like, oh, hey, it sounds like you need a new group of friends. How about it be us, the Foo Fighters?
One time in college, Tom, my roommate, friend of the show, Jeff, went to an Andrew WK show. And you know, that was in his Party Hard era.
Yeah, I went to one of those shows once.
And I really wanted to go, but I had a big exam the next day, so I had to stay home and study for the exam.
And
cram for the old exam. And I get a call at like 11:30 p.m. from Jeff, drunk,
on his
cellular telephone. with he was standing there with Andrew WK. He had gotten backstage at Irving Plaza, which was a block away from our. Like, I probably should. And he's like, "Hey, come party with us. We're all partying." And I was like, "I can't. I gotta study." And he's like, "Hold on." And he put Andrew WK on the phone. And he's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna come out and party?"
Yeah. Hey, you don't want to come out and party with me, the man famous for partying?
Exactly. And you know what he told me?
What?
Study hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you graduated top of your class after that, right?
No, I didn't do very well. I was the only one in like my group of friends who did not like graduate with honors. They all got this like special thing to wear at graduation, and I was like, "Well, what are you wearing this for?" And they're just like, "Oh, you didn't? Don't worry about it."
Did Jeff get it, even though he was out with Andrew WK?
Yeah, Jeff was a good, diligent student. Smart man.
He had probably studied before then instead of the night before.
Oh yeah, this was a class that I'm sure I attended maybe 10% of the actual classes. So there were a couple of those where it's like, uh-oh, I got to learn everything.
Learn everything by tomorrow.
Time. Yeah.
So yeah, well, I explained macrovision. I really want to get into that.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Digital recorders were required to detect macrovision.
It occurred to me while I was telling that story, maybe Jeff was pulling a prank on me, and that wasn't Andrew WK at all.
No, I'm sure it was. I don't think Andrew WK was like, inapproachable.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure, and Jeff isn't the kind of guy that would be too shy to like, find a way backstage and say, "Hi, I want you to call my friend Tim."
Right.
Tim, let's get back to talking about VHS, please. So
sorry,
rock and roll.
Get back to the specs. Everybody's yelling.
Of course, we all know VHS superseded by SVHS, Super VHS.
They always try that. They try that with DVD also, right?
And I mean, very similar, where it's like SVHS is better than VHS a little bit. Like, not really.
Right.
SVHS did have a little more play in the commercial space, in like the professional space, just because it was better than VHS, but still like pretty cheap. The tapes and recorders. VHS-C, which were the little guys that you would put in,
those guys,
and then
in a camcorder.
Yeah, and then you put it in like a big shell, and it would have a little motor, and be like, it was like a transformer transforming a little tape into a big tape.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and then DVHS, dumb
VHS,
digital VHS, Tim. I didn't even know about this. This was digital VHS that could record in 720p or 1080i.
When did this come out?
Like 90s, I want to say.
Oh, okay.
And it could record. This is actually pretty cool. So 720p or 1080i, so HD format,
high definition.
Yeah. What used to be considered high def, now like 1080p is considered high def. Progressive versus interlace. But it could record 4 hours on one of those tapes, which is pretty cool. But you get, same as the other VHS, it had like different speeds. At the slowest speed, one DVHS tape could record 49 hours of content. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if they had those when we were kids, and it was like, oh yeah, you can record like 4 seasons of The Simpsons on one tape. That'd be really fun. That'd be great.
That would be fun.
Would have saved me a lot of money on tapes.
You were recording a lot. You were spending a lot of money recording. Were you recording things off the TV?
Yeah, I was always recording things off the TV. I mean, and like, I was going to say,
I do Drexel's classes. I don't know, watch that.
I was going to say I never watched any of this stuff, but that's not true. I would watch that stuff all the time because, again, in like the mid to late 90s, it's like, if there's nothing on TV, guess what? There's also nothing else to do.
Yeah.
So you can play video games.
This is why we don't have any skills or real hobbies, because that's what we thought.
Yeah. But it's like, you can play video games. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in the mood for that, maybe you're not in the mood. You're in the mood to watch something. Well, you got to go rooting around and see if you got old episodes of Harry and the Hendersons that you want to watch or something like that. Did you know Harry and the Hendersons, the guy who played Harry, was the Predator?
Ah.
The guy who played the Predator, they didn't put a Predator in the Harry and the Henderson suit.
Yeah, that would have been difficult.
Tragically, he died young.
Did he?
Yeah, he died while they were making the TV show.
Oh, it
Not
was the same
like
guy?
while they were making. He didn't die on camera. But yeah, it was the same guy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Probably the only cast member that crossed over.
Yeah, probably. And arguably the most important. Inarguably, I would say.
That TV show. Was that a syndicated TV show? I think it was.
Maybe. Yeah, I remember it being like a weird, they made a TV show.
It's like, anything that, its regular time slot was on network television, but Saturday afternoon at 3:30.
Yeah.
It's just like, this isn't
a real TV show. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it doesn't pass the smell test. Something's up here. If you like the show, you can find out more by going to tcgte.com. You can find all of our social media links and stuff. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim. I'm back, baby.
Hey, check out patreon.com/complete guide for Books the Podcast. Tim, tell them what books we're covering this week.
We're covering a number of books.
Wow.
Children's books, baby books that I've been reading to my son. Look, they're books that my son really enjoys. Tom, I think you'll like them too. You guys get along, right?
Yeah. I mean,
you've had your
did
differences.
Snub me that one time, and
he apologized. He made it right. Quit belly aching.
And also check out tcgt.com/live for our live shows coming up in London.
If you're on the fence, come.
Get off the fence.
We're going all the way to goddamn London. Please come. It'll be fun.
Or buy a live stream ticket for the Saturday show. It should be fun regardless. And it's going to be like a very professional video stream is my understanding, so it should be nice. It's going to be just like watching...
I see some people... It's going to be watching what? Like watching an episode of Seinfeld?
I was going to say Citizen Kane.
Oh, yeah. The Passion of the Christ. Tom, I see some chatter on the Discord.
It'd be like watching Apocalypto.
There's some chatter on the Discord, people talking about the live stream, and this one guy's like, I might be busy.
Right.
Guess what?
Cancel.
Either cancel or buy a ticket. You can watch it.
Yeah.
For the next 7 days.
Yeah. No reason not to.
Yeah. And if you're on the Discord, in the Patreon only section of the, just do it.
All right. Well, now that Tim's done bullying a specific person, Tim, let me tell you about taking VCRs apart, because I remember I still don't really understand what happened. I should ask my mom. But I just remember
I forgot that you didn't.
I don't.
Okay, sorry.
Well, luckily I didn't. One day, my mom, when I was like a teenager, was just like, get in the car. You're gonna get a VCR.
Wow.
And it must have been somebody who maybe didn't pay their bill at her office or something.
I think VCRs held some sort of place in your home where we had a VCR and we didn't talk about it. We used it. We weren't worried about burning out the motor. We were hey, guess what? It's an event when we get a VCR.
Well, I remember having...
Don't even talk to me about top loading or...
the top loadings kind of went away, but those were cool. But I think it was mostly the first VCR my parents got. I looked at how much VCRs were back then, and it was, in today's dollars, anywhere between $1,000 to $1,500.
Wow. Okay.
So
that was
not a small chunk of change. And I remember times where it's the VCR is in the shop. It needs to be repaired.
Right. We rewound too much. That's why we bought the goddamn rewinder, Tommy.
And I think it was after that we got the rewinder, because it was all right, this will save on the wear and tear, because it was the motor needed to be replaced.
Right.
And it was a weird thing. I mean, you remember in town, there was a TV VCR repair shop.
Yeah.
And that was a common thing, because it was these things.
I don't remember my family ever stepping foot in that place.
I remember going in there. I remember going in there for TV too.
Huh.
because like
Maybe we just bought more durable equipment.
I think a lot of the stuff back then, they just had like parts that was like, oh yeah, that part will burn out.
Yeah.
I was reading something about like there were these parts in like, on VHS tapes, some of it's clear.
Yeah.
The reason why is that tells the VCR like the tape's done basically. And the way it does that is there's a part that just shines a light at the tape and a sensor on the other side that can't see the light until the tape's clear.
Right.
But like those bulbs would burn.
Yeah,
they were
burn out.
incandescent bulbs. Like they would burn out. But anyway, I just remember this one time I wasn't even in the market for a VCR. Oh, I also was going to say, I remember like the VCR, the first VCR we had.
This is going to be a long story.
Was so goddamn complicated. It had so many buttons. It was like, what do all these things do? Because I think you could like record one thing while you were watching something else, but I don't know. I think like one time we successfully figured out how to do that.
Yeah. Wait, recording something while watching something else?
Yeah.
Tom, not only did
that
we
got
not have
easier
to fucking,
later.
Like bring our VCR to the shop or like treat it like like it was made out of like porcelain or something.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting so much more use out of it than you.
You were recording.
I was watching the
on...
Drew Carey show while recording Mad About You.
Well, I remember later, like the second VCR we had, it things were like way easier to do that, record something else, but also to like set a timer to record something. The first one, I just remember the front of the VCR had, I would say, about 100 buttons on it, and like little tiny, like you would have to like use your fingernail to hit the buttons because they were so small. But anyway, my mom was like, we're going to go to this guy's house. He fixes VCRs. We went to this guy's house that fixed VCRs, and he had a house that looked just like our friend Matt Nardi's house. So I was like, oh, I know this kind of house.
I know the layout here, split level.
And he just had all these VCRs, and he was like, pick one. And I was like, oh, well,
okay.
Which ones are good? And I think he like threw out some. We still had to pay for it, but like it was like $20 or something.
Fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah, no, they were just old.
Oh.
And then he bought them broken and repaired them and then sold them. And I got one with like wood paneling on it. That was pretty cool.
And you took it apart?
Yeah, because
was that going to be the end of the
no,
story?
I
Did you
used
forget?
I used it, but
did you forget that you were talking about taking it apart all?
Well, if you'd let me finish, I used it, but I don't
wrapped
think
up the story.
He didn't do a good job fixing it, and I had to take it apart all the time to like clear gunk out and get it working better.
That was the whole story about taking it apart.
Well, what more do you want out of it?
You told me that there was a lot going on in there.
Yeah, there was a lot. I had to go to this guy's house.
This is not the story I was expecting. And I was dreading hearing the story the whole time.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't win.
Yeah, I know.
You're dreading the story, and then I tell you a short story that's a lot of fun, and you don't like
it
that
was
either.
Fun. There was a road trip story.
Yeah.
Matt Nardi's house appeared.
It was like the next town over. It wasn't that long of a trip.
Oh.
But it was just weird. I just remember being like, why are we going in a person's house? I don't like this. What, like, Mom, no, this isn't a store. You can't buy things in here. But you could.
Yeah. Your friend stole some stuff.
They didn't steal it.
Stole some wood-paneled VCRs.
Bad job putting it together. It was a good VCR.
I did have a VCR.
That was the VCR I would use to tape real sex in the basement.
Get in the car, Tommy. We're gonna go get a VCR so you could tape weird.
It wasn't pitched to me that way, but it was immediately what I started thinking about.
Wait, what was I starting to say?
I don't know. Something about the creepy things you would record.
Oh, no. I had a VCR that the wear and tear got to it.
Oh, maybe you should use a rewinder.
Guess what, Tom?
Some of the nice rewinders also had fast forwarders on them.
It was also, in case you wanted to just
Yeah, because sometimes you were like, oh, I know it's like halfway through the tape. Let me not burn out my VCR. Let me use the fast forwarder rewinder.
Well, anyway, this was like, we also had a DVD player. Remember that weird crossover time between like
when
where
you could buy
Blockbuster
a dual?
had
No,
it wasn't a dual. Like we had a DVD player,
but just the two formats were both
and
out,
like Blockbuster was like, all right, we'll rent you a VHS or we'll rent you a DVD.
Yeah,
and
nightmare for them.
Yeah, and my VHS player got to a point where like it was only playing things, or it was intermittently like turning everything black and white instead of color.
Yeah, it sounds like the motor burnt out.
Maybe. But I came home one night from a date with my girlfriend at the time, and I don't know, I think I was a little drunk. I think maybe we got drunk.
Okay.
But I was like probably underage.
Sounds like a high school date.
Yeah. And my family was there watching Memento. And there was a part in black and white. I guess, yeah.
Parts.
But I was just like, oh, the VCR's acting up. Here's how you put it in color. And like, it was like a very like dramatic
and your
part.
Parents were like, why do you smell like peach schnapps?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like going over to the VCR, like hitting it, being like, if you hit it in this way, it turns back to color. And they're like, no, this part's in fucking black and white.
You're looking to send you to rehab after that.
Yeah, I ruined it. And then they were just like, just get out of here. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, what are you, nuts? We're going to have to get this VCR repaired to keep hitting it like that.
Whatever.
And
my
you know
girlfriend
this,
are drunk. We're going to go make out on the porch anyway.
You know this family is against getting a rewinder.
And we'll deal with the content. We're too proud to
yeah,
hit it.
well, they didn't count on their son coming home drunk one night and beating the VCR to change from black and white to color.
During a black and white movie.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.